His mom tried to replace me with his ex. When I married Nathan, I knew Juliana existed. Everyone has an ex. What I didn't know was that his mom, Linda, had basically adopted her like some kind of emotional support daughter and had no intention of letting her go. I'm talking framed photos, Sunday calls, emergency contact level devotion. Nathan brushed it off with a, "She gets attached," like this was normal human behavior. Spoiler, it was not. First time I met Linda, she compared me to Juliana for an hour straight, like she was flipping through a clearance rack and deciding what she didn't like. A few months later, Nathan and I show up for Sunday dinner, and guess who's already at the table wearing Linda's apron and hugging Nathan like she was inhaling him? Yep, Juliana. And that became the routine. Holidays? She's there. Random dinners? She's there. Major events? Obviously there. Always in her seat, always drifting into Linda's kitchen like she lived there. By the time we got engaged, it went full circus. Linda turned the engagement party into the Juliana show. Juliana even gave a speech about knowing Nathan better than anyone, which is exactly what every bride loves to hear at her own engagement party. At the wedding, Linda tried to seat her at the family table, and Juliana rolled up as Linda's +1 in a red dress Linda helped pick out, because why not add visual insult to emotional injury? When I got pregnant, I genuinely hoped things would shift. Ha! Enter Thanksgiving. I cooked for 2 days, walked into Linda's house and saw Juliana already wearing a custom Chef Juliana apron, like she was starring in her own cooking show. Linda immediately announced we'd be using Juliana's stuffing instead of mine, and literally shoved my dish into the garage fridge. I cried in the bathroom while Nathan told me it was just stuffing, which, babe, no. Dinner itself, a roast. Linda hyped Juliana's house purchase, job updates, egg freezing plans, all with meaningful glances at Nathan. Then Juliana brought up the Italy trip they never got to take, and suggested they finally go, just as friends. Linda clapped. Something inside me just snapped in half. I stood up and said I was done pretending. Told Linda she clearly wanted Juliana more than she'd ever accept me, and that I wasn't raising a child where I'm treated like the unwanted extra. Then I turned to Juliana and said it was pathetic to orbit her ex's family like a stray that never left after the breakup. Chaos, tears, yelling, zero regrets. I told Linda plainly, choose Juliana or choose to know her grandchild. Nathan finally took my side, like loudly. We walked out while Linda screeched about ruining Thanksgiving. Nathan just said, Thanksgiving is for family, and my wife isn't treated like family here. That night, Linda called 43 times. Juliana texted Nathan that I ruined everything. Nathan blocked her. He gave Linda one last choice. Either Juliana was out or we were. Linda chose Juliana. 3 weeks later, the real bomb dropped. Nathan's dad called and said Juliana was pregnant, and claiming Nathan was the father, I went ice cold. Asked Nathan point blank if he cheated. He went into full panic mode, but swore he hadn't touched her in 5 years and hadn't been alone with her since way before we met. We went through everything. Location history, messages, calendar, charges, photos. Zero gaps, zero weirdness, nothing. I called my best friend Violet. She and Griffin showed up immediately. Griffin said a paternity test is the only thing that actually matters right now. Rational, even if my insides felt like a blender. Then Linda started calling again, demanding a family meeting and insisting Nathan step up. I grabbed the phone and said nothing was happening without proof of pregnancy and a DNA test. She screamed. Nathan backed me up hard. Next morning, my sister Coraline flew in with a legal pad and the energy of a woman ready to prosecute. She interrogated Nathan, combed through everything, built a timeline that basically concluded either Nathan is a master criminal or Juliana is lying. Then Griffin pointed out a third option. Juliana is pregnant, but with someone else's baby, and she's using Nathan to wedge herself back into the family. The entire room just froze. Later that night, Nathan's dad called again. He admitted Linda never even asked Juliana for proof of pregnancy. She just believed her instantly. And that is when everything really started to unravel. Click the full story to see what happened next.